Good evening, everyone. Thank you for joining in. My name is Louis Polito with the Belmar Public Library. Welcome to this week's Poetry Jam Cabaret. Today we have two new poets joining us to share some poetry. We have Cheri Russo and we have Sharon Russell-Fowler on with us today. And hopefully Art will be joining us soon. So we have a nice little mix of poems today to share with you, with some limericks and as well. And I have, in honor of Memorial Day coming up soon, I have some more patriotic poems to share with everybody. So without further ado, if you look at the bottom of the screen, you see the Q&A section over there. You can click on that, and in that section, that's where you type in your comments at what you think about the poems you hear. Give us a like, a hand clap, thumbs up, or a comment, whatever you like. Please just let us know what you think. All right. So with that, as further ado, let's give the floor to Cheri. Cheri, welcome. What do you have?
Hello, everybody. My poems are about my favorite topic, my favorite subject, which is dogs, which I'm sure everybody knows.
All right.
This poem is called The New Dog, and it's written by Linda Pastan. Into the gravity of my life, the serious ceremonies of polishing paper and pen has come. This maniac animal, whose innocent disruptions make nonsense of my old simplicities, as if I needed him to prove again that after all the careful planning, anything can happen.
How true.
How true, right?
Was that
the second one is a little tiny poem, but I thought it was funny.
Okay.
It's called The Dog by Ogden Nash. The truth I do not stretch or shove when I state that a dog is full of love. I've also found by actual test, a wet dog is the lovingest.
A dog is a dog that knows how to have fun.
Right.
Yeah.
And do you want one more quick one?
Yeah, sure. Hit us up.
Okay. This is The Dogs at Live Oak Beach, Santa Cruz. I love Santa Cruz. That's one of my favorite places to travel to.
Oh, okay.
And this is by Alicia Ostreicher. As if there could be a world of absolute innocence in which we forget ourselves, the owners throw sticks and half-balled tennis balls towards the surf, and the happy dogs leapt after them as if catapulted. Black dogs, tan dogs, tubes of glorious muscle.
Sounds like a very good description of some of yours.
Yes.
No wonder you chose that one.
Yes, because it's beach weather.
Uh-huh.
Yes.
Cool. Those are pretty good ones. It's funny you chose a poem by Ogden Nash, because it turns out one of the poems I have is also from Ogden Nash.
Wow.
And what I have is also from Ogden Nash.
Really?
Wow.
An Ogden Nash special today. I'm gonna
And
put
we
that
didn't
on.
even plan that. That's so funny.
That is
We
so
should
good.
cut this and send it to him.
Yeah, we should. Yeah, I don't know.
Right? Like, what are the chances?
Yeah, exactly. So, that's a great. Those are the ones that you have? Well, those are pretty cool. I mean,
If you wanted me to do another one, I can. I just don't want to take up the whole time myself here.
no. We got plenty of time. But I guess I wanted to, before you read a fourth poem, tell us a little bit about. You say you love dogs. For those who are not aware, tell them a little bit about how big a dog's a part of your life.
So when I was young, I wasn't allowed to have a dog. Then when I was 18, there was someone giving away a dog because the dog ate a small piece of the carpet. And that was my very first rescue dog. And then also I took a dog literally off the street. The dog was dumped. And so that's when I was 18. Since then, I have rescue dogs that have been living on the side of the road that people didn't dare to put in their cars. I've gone to shelters. I've adopted dogs off of death row. I have adopted unsocialized dogs and socialized them. I have saved dogs with brain damage. I am a permanent foster for 2 dogs that are developmentally delayed. I foster with Rescue Ridge. I am coming up with the 3 that I have right now. As soon as they're adopted out, that will be my 40th dog I've adopted out.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah, which is kind of a lot to adopt out. Um,
In a short period of time. You have
in
to
a short
mention
period
that
of
too.
time. And 2 years, plus one of those years was COVID.
Oh, wow.
And so during COVID, dogs couldn't be transported across state borders. So that was a tough situation because everybody wanted a dog or a puppy, and yet we couldn't get them up here for a long time. Some people did it anyways. The rescue I'm with did not. But I do know of some things I've seen on Facebook where during COVID, they felt bad for the dogs of what would happen if they didn't save them, and they chanced it. Puppies now coming up get tested for COVID before they're adopted. Yep. So the ones that come to me we get vaccination records and they've been tested for COVID. So I think that's pretty interesting, and that's a new spin on rescue. And in addition to that, because I couldn't get enough, I'm now going to PetSmart 1 day a week on Thursdays, PetSmart in Long Branch, to help take care of the rescue cats.
Oh,
which is a brand new thing. So yes.
Well, that should be an adventure because cats are a whole different, literally.
They are. I started last Thursday. It was very interesting. I really enjoyed it.
Oh, great. Well, good luck to you on that.
Thank you. I treat them like a dog. One of them actually acted like a dog, so it was perfect.
Well, thank you for sharing that. And now that we know, how big dogs are in your life, I want to share us one last poem from you on a dog, if you have one.
Okay, hold on 1 second. Let me pull it up here. Oops, sorry. Hold on. This is called Waiting for Happiness by Nomi Stone. Dog knows when friend will come home because each hour, friends, smells, pales. Air pairings down the good smell with its little diamond. It means I miss you. Oh, I miss you. How hard it is to wait for my happiness, and how good when it arrives. Here we are in our bodies, ripe as avocados, softer, brightening with latencies, like a hot blue core of electricity. Our ankles knotted to our calves by a thread, wombs sparking with watermelon seeds we swallowed as children, the heart again badly hurt, trying and failing. But it's almost 5, says the dog. It's almost 5. That's, I guess, for people that work 9 to 5. Not
and not working at home.
Yes, because Enzo says 5 o'clock, it's nap time.
Yep.
Right.
Well, it speaks to a lot of how dogs really do sit and wait. They know when you're coming home, and they can't wait to see you when you get home. They're all over.
Yes.
When I had a dog and I would come home from school, that dog was all over me when I walked in, and it was so happy to see it. So it just shows the unconditional love of a dog is so great. I love
Absolutely.
it.
We have cameras inside and cameras outside.
Yeah.
But on the cameras inside, you can see what they're doing as we leave.
Oh,
like
yeah.
One jumps up and looks out the window. 2 take their place on the sofa right away, getting comfortable. 1 runs down the hall. And then when you come home, you can pull up and watch the camera of somebody thinks they hear it. Signal to the other dog. Oh, it's really happening, which is pretty neat video. Yeah.
Oh, wow. Well, Johanna has a comment. She says, love the dog poems. So she's real happy to hear them. So that's great.
Thank you, Johanna.
She definitely enjoyed them. So so let me go on. I'll go on from here. I got 3 poems today. I'll start with Ogden Nash. So all of my poems today are kind of like patriotically related because we got Memorial Day coming up. Ogden Nash was America's most popular comic poet. He described himself as a versifier. In the 1930s, he gave up trying to write serious verse and settled for his own brew, whereas Archibald MacLeish remarked, "Nothing suggests the structure of verse but the rhymes." Nash retired from his job at the New Yorker to give himself more time to write and concluded that, quote, "When I consider how my life is spent, I hardly ever repent." So he's pretty happy with what he did with his life. So the poem I got here is called Kind of an Ode to Duty. And it's somewhat of a snarky poem about having to do duty. He's willing to do it, but you know, duty's got its downsides too, you know. So he goes like this. "O duty, why hast thou not the visage of a sweetie or a cutie? Why glitter thy spectacles so ominously? Why art thou clad so abominously? Why art thou so different from Venus? And why do thou and I have so few interests mutually in common between us? Why art thou 50% martyr and 51% tartar? Why is it thy unfortunate want to try to attract people by calling on them either to leave undone the deeds they like or to do the deeds they don't? Why art thou so like an April postmortem or something that died in the autumn? Above all, why dost thou continue to hound me? Why art thou always albatrossly hanging around me? Thou so ubiquitous, and I so iniquitous. I seem to be the one person in the world thou art perpetually preaching at, or to who. Whatever looks like fun, there art thou standing between me and it, calling you who? Oh, duty, duty, how noble a man should I be, hadst thou the visage of a sweetie or a cutie. But as it is thou art so much forbiddinger than a Wodehouse hero's forbiddingest aunt, that in the words of the poet, when duty whispers low, thou must, this erstwhile youth replies, I just can't. You know, I can definitely relate to how many times that we have to not do what we want to do because we have a duty to do something else, and it's almost never the most fun thing to do. So, but I like how he takes this look at it.
Mm-hmm.
It strikes me though, he's like resigned to do his duty. He'll do it. He just doesn't like it sometimes. So
that sounds very familiar to many of us.
Yes. And Ogden Nash was a pretty good poet, and he kind of like really touched on how people see life, and this is a pretty good example of that. So, and you can see it too in the poem that you said on the dog poem right there. He just really touches on people's experiences very well. So, and that's part of what really makes a really good poem. So, so that was that one. I have over here my good friend Edgar Albert Guest. Now, Edgar Albert Guest, as you know, he wrote this book is from the World War II era, 1942. So these poems were written at a time when we were at war, and the stories, and actually some of these, the one I'm about to read now, actually refers to a World War I scenario. So this was called Runner Mcgee, who had return if possible orders. You've heard a good deal of the telephone wires, he said as we sat at our ease, and talked of the struggle that's taken men's hearts. And talked of the struggles that's taking men's lives in these terrible days over the seas. But I've been through the thick of the thing, and I know when a battle's begun. It isn't the phone you depend on for help. It's the legs of a boy who can run. It isn't because of the phone that I'm here. Today you are talking to me because of the grit and the pluck of a boy. His title was Runner Mcgee. We were up to our deadline and fighting alone. Some plan had miscarried, I guess, and the help we were promised had failed to arrive. We were showing all signs of distress. Our curtain of fire was ahead of us still, and theirs was behind us and thick. And there wasn't a thing we could do for ourselves. The few of us left had to stick. You haven't much chance to get central and talk on the phone to the music of guns. Getting word to the chief is a matter right then that is up to the fellow who runs. I'd sent 4 of them back with the RIP sign, which means to return if you can. But none of them got through the curtain of fire. My hurry call died with the men. Then Runner Mcgee said he'd try and get through. I hated to order the kid on his mission of death, though he'd never got by, but somehow or other he did. Yes, he's dead. Died an hour after bringing us word that the chief was aware of our plight. And for us to hang on to the ditch that we held, the reserves would relieve us at night. Then we stuck to our trench and we stuck to our guns. You know how you'll fight when you know that new strength is coming to fill up the gaps. There's heart in the force of your blow. It wasn't till later that I got all the facts. They wanted Mcgee to remain. They begged him to stay. He had cheated death once and was foolish to try it again. RIP are my orders, he answered them all, and back to the boys I must go. 4 of us died coming out with the news. It will help them to know that you know.
Wow.
That was that's pretty fascinating. Excuse me 1 second. Have to hang up something right there.
Oh,
So anyway,
you might have to mute Cheri.
Will do. Probably have to give me 1 second. Ooh. Let me mute Cheryl.
Oh no.
Oop. All right, there we go. Oh my. All right, so yeah, so that's a pretty good that's a pretty good little story of what what they had to go through when they fought the battles back in World War I, you know.
And I'll bet you it still relates to what many still go through. Maybe technology has made it a little bit better, but the feelings, I'm sure, are still very similar.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, in the heat of battle, sometimes technology will fail, and when technology fails, you got to go back to square one. If that means you start running, that's what you got to do.
Exactly.
So that was a good one right there. I like that one. That was a good story. And my third poem is also by Edgar Albert Guest. We need a few more optimists. And this is a pretty cool poem because he talks about the right kind of person that we need to, when we're out there fighting for, whether it be our freedom or our rights or for what's truth, then there's a certain type of optimist that really carries the day. And he talks about it in this one. So Edgar Albert Guest, we need a few more optimists. We need a few more optimists, the kind that double up their fists and set their jaws determined like a blow at infamy to strike. Not smiling men who drift along and compromise with every wrong. Not grinning optimists who cry that right was never born to die. But optimists who'll fight to give the truth an honest chance to live. We need a few more optimists for places in our fighting lines. The kind of hopeful men who make real sacrifice for freedom's sake. The optimist with purpose strong who stands to battle every wrong, takes off his coat and buckles in the better joys of earth to win. The optimist who worries lest the vile should overthrow the best. We need a few more optimists, the brave of heart that long resists the force of hate and greed and lust, and keeps in God and man his trust. believing as he makes his fight that everything will end all right. Yet through the dreary days and nights, unfalteringly swerves and fights, and helps to gain the joys which he believes are someday sure to be. We need a few more optimists of iron hearts and sturdy wrists, not optimists who smugly smile and preach that in a little while the clouds will fade before the sun, but cheerful men who'll bear a gun, and hopeful men of courage stout, who'll see disaster roundabout, and yet will keep their faith and fight and gain the victory for right.
Mm.
I think that speaks to today in many ways. You know, we've come up some pretty tough times, and to stand up and be optimist in these tough times can be a challenge. But you know, the right kind of optimists can help make things right, and we see that today. Look at all the changes we've had. You know,
you have to be an optimist. I mean, unfortunately, again, we heard, you know, of some terrible news that took place in California. And, you know, we just have to be optimistic and say, you know, this is just an isolated event. This is not what's taking place throughout, you know, our country. And it's what keeps us going. You have to be an optimist. Otherwise, the alternative is not good.
Yes. So those are the three poems that I have. I hope everyone enjoyed them, you know, as part of Memorial Day. So Sharon, you're going to take us on a little bit of a different track.
Yes, I'm gonna have humor for the most part.
Okay. I'm gonna mute myself real quick while you get started. I'll be right back.
Okay. So limericks were the kind of thing that I used to love to teach for many, many years. And there are some rules to limericks. They're traditionally 5 lines long. Lines 1 and 2 and line 5 all have rhyming parts. And they all usually have anywhere from 8 to 9 syllables. And then lines 3 and 4 have between 5 or 6 syllables. And they also rhyme. So I found a couple of very interesting ones and a couple of comical ones, but this one I thought I would start with because it's not a limerick to start with. This is going to be just a discussion to explain limericks. So it says lines 1 and 2 lay out the scene, but the secret sauce is somewhere in the middle. It's lines 3 and 4 that are shorter and punchier, but also give you the vital element of suspense. So you're waiting to find out what's going to be in line 5. And the last line usually leads one with a sense of anticipation, and it gets the reader interested for the irony that will be soon revealed. Okay, so here's the first one. I don't have any authors. A lot of these I took offline, but there will be one at the end that does have a little bit of an author. A limerick's not hard to define, but it needs to do more than just rhyme. It's the meter that matters, the pitters and patters. If not, you're just wasting my time. So again, little reference there to pitter and patter, going back to the dogs.
Yeah, I thought that too.
I did. When
I thought we came full circle there.
Okay, then the next one I have is the limerick.
That was very good, the first one. I like that.
Thank you. The limerick packs laughs anatomical into space that is quite economical. But the good ones I've seen so seldom are clean, and the clean ones are so seldom comical. Which leads us then into the ones that are a little bit risque, might have a double meaning to them. So
really?
yes, I had to bring a couple of them in.
We're all adults here.
Right, we're all adults. But if you listen to it and if I pause, you'll have a visual in your mind, but then the last line will clear it up. There was a young lass from Madras who had a magnificent ass, not rounded and pink, as you probably think, but was gray, had long ears, and ate grass. I was like, yeah, I like that one. I could get along with that one in school.
That's good.
Okay.
Can I ask about that one?
Sure.
Ray had long ears and ate grass is who? Who?
Well, my dog yesterday,
I know,
unfortunately. ate
my
one.
dog's today. Is it an elephant? Like, is it a
No.
specific animal?
Well,
No,
an
I think
ass-
it's
an ass
supposed to
is
be a
another word for
donkey, an ass.
Oh, a donkey.
Yes.
I'm sorry.
That's okay. It was
I
a good
see.
question. You never
Yes.
assume that everyone knows that. So good question.
Yes. Well, but and right. Well, they have like up ears, like ivy,
Right.
not
But
not
they-
long
they-
ears. Yeah, I know. I'm just
Yes,
giving.
yes, a little bit pointy.
Thank you.
Think Donkey from Shrek. Yeah.
Yes, yes.
Oh,
We all love Donkey.
yeah.
Oh my God, absolutely. Okay, so another one I have about 3 or 4 more.
Okay.
There once was a mockingbird, Clyde, who bragged of his prowess, but lied. To his new wife he sighed, when then again, gentle bride, nevermore, bright-eyed raven replied.
Little touch of Edgar Allan Poe, I see there.
Oh yes, yes, a little bit of
The Raven.
humorous there.
Yes, yes.
The humorous there. But yeah, I was just wondering about that. I don't think the kids would get it, but I did think it was quite humorous. Okay, this one is a clean one.
Okay.
A dozen, a gross, and a score, plus 3 times the square root of 4, divided by 7, plus 5 times 11 is 9 squared and not a bit more. And I thought of Matt for that one.
Matt
I
would have
know.
loved that one. You'll
He
have to
loves-
tell it to him. He
I will.
had to go to Home Depot to fix the wall.
Okay, but I
And
knew he
so,
loved
yes,
Matt. I knew he
loves
loved math, so that would be a
Yes.
good one for him.
So
He would
I,
get a kick out of that.
so I guess if you actually did the math, it would work out exactly
It
what
would
is.
come out to 9 squared. Yep, exactly.
Well, we can check it.
Yes, we can.
Yeah, that'll be our
can.
homework for next.
That's
step.
his favorite. Yes.
Hey,
Okay. There was a young lady named Bright who traveled much faster than light. She set out one day in a relative way and came back the previous night.
Oh.
Hey, faster than light. So she came back before she started.
Yep, that's pretty.
Ah,
That, well, yeah. If you know your theory of relativity, if you go faster than light, time goes
Yeah.
backwards. You know.
Exactly.
It was pretty cool.
Exactly.
I gotta say that one poem, thinking back with the Raven,
Uh-huh.
it brought to mind. I remember reading the poem and I always enjoyed it. But here's the thing, I always remembers the Simpsons episode when they did the Raven, and Homer was the main character in there, and you would hear Bart was the Raven.
Right,
Nevermore, nevermore, and they did a very good job of it too. But it was great.
Well, for this one though, and you wouldn't know it because I have it in print, but the Nevermore is the name of the wife.
Oh, okay.
So her name is Raven, and she's the one that's saying Nevermore.
Yeah.
So it's a little bit of a
Little
different
different.
meaning there.
Yeah,
Yes, a little bit of a different meaning.
everyone's wife says nevermore.
Okay, here's one by Nash, Ogden Nash. I like this one because it's a little twist on, I like tongue twisters, so this was a fun one.
Mhm.
A flea and a fly in a flue were in prison, so what could they do? Said the fly, let us flee. Let us fly, said the flea. So they flew through a flaw in the flue.
I love that.
They managed to escape. There you go.
That sounds like one of those tongue twister ones.
Yes, yes.
You know, I
And
heard a
there-
good. I heard a good one the other day. It was on a commercial, so it was like, Siamese sailors sell sandwiches by the seashore, or something like that.
Oh, yep. She sells seashells by the seashore.
Something like that. That too. Yeah.
Yes,
exactly.
yes. All right. So I figured I wouldn't be a really good teacher, even though I'm retired, without trying to do one on my own. So I did write a small one.
Oh, okay. It's some original poem. Oh, I love it.
This is my original.
Wonderful.
Before you start,
Okay.
Johanna has a couple comments. She says, "Hey, powerful poems, Lewis. Thank you very much for that." And she gives us a couple of thumbs up, and she goes, "Loves them all so far." So
Oh.
she just popped them up. So thank you, Johanna.
Thank you, Johanna.
Thank
Okay.
you.
There once was a girl from Belmar who decided to purchase a car. She went to the lot and found one she bought, and now proudly owns a streetcar.
Okay.
Not so humorous, but it was, I had to find something that rhymed with Belmar and car. So I had to go with streetcar.
There you
And
go.
lot and bought also rhymed. So I wanted to get in Belmar on this one. They did say with the format that you use for limericks, a lot of them in the first line do actually have the name of a town. Like there was an old man from Nantucket, and so they do make a reference to usually a city or an area. And the whole idea about limericks, by the way, the term does originate from Ireland. Its name is taken from the Irish county of Limerick in Ireland. And I have been there.
Mhm.
So that was pretty
Me
good.
too.
There we go. There we go.
Okay. I haven't been
So-
told yet, so maybe one day. We'll see.
I went accidentally. I mean, I went on purpose, but I never planned on going in my life.
Oh, okay.
But I worked with someone. I worked at a Irish restaurant, and it was a restaurant bar, and then a lot of Irish people came over to work there. And so then they didn't drive in America. This was in Boston. And they didn't drive while they were in America. And so I would drive everybody around, one girl in particular.
Mhm.
And then when she went home, she said, come visit. So I went for 2 months.
Oh, nice.
Mine was very similar to that as well. My girlfriend, we were staying at a beach house in the summer in Manasquan. And unbeknownst to her, she had a cousin that was visiting, and the cousin was actually from Ireland. And so they wound up coming and spending some time with us in Manasquan. And they had said the same thing. Well, if you're ever in Ireland, come look us up. So we wound up actually going there. My girlfriend and I, we did a 3-week trip, and we spent 1 week with these friends on a riverboat. I think of a riverboat differently, but it basically was a very slow moving boat that would sleep. I think there were 8 of us. We're either 6 or 8 of us. And we went up and down the Shannon.
Oh, okay.
It was wonderful.
Wow.
I mean, this is how fast it moves. It moves this fast.
Oh, wow.
You could row a boat faster than but you do go through all the canals, which was really neat. So that was the first experience I had of actually going through a canal.
Oh,
And one of the canals, this goes back to my limerick. One of the canals, we were in this really low part, and then they fill the water up and then it rises you up. But I remember we were at the lowest part of the canal, and I looked up and there was a donkey there. And I was like, oh my God, is the donkey going to jump in the boat? But it turned out it was the canal gatekeeper's pet. And it stayed right there and waited till we got into eye level and just let us into the next lock. It was
Wow,
kind of cool.
that's pretty neat.
Yeah.
So would you, now that we're done with all our poems, let me ask you, what did you guys think? Did you enjoy it?
Yeah, it was fun.
Very much.
It was fun.
Oh, good, great. Well, we definitely hope to have you back in the future. You don't have to come back at every event, but anytime you want, you're welcome back. And hopefully Art and the VJ will be joining us back again in the next episode. Our next Poetry Jam Cabaret is going to be Wednesday, June 9th, same time at 6 p.m. I hope everyone will be able to join us. So in the meantime, Sharon and Cheri, do you have any last words to say to everyone before we hit that out?
Well, I hope we get some more people on, especially maybe some high school or college students on. I'm sure they're all writers at some point. So the more the merrier, as they say.
All right. Cheri, any last words before we close out for the night?
Thank you for having me. Thank you for having all of us. All the dogs enjoyed the poems, except for one bout of barking.
Yeah, I heard that. He was exceptionally excited. So thank you very much for coming tonight and sharing some poetry with us. We look forward to having you back again. Once again, everybody, our next Poetry Jam is Wednesday, June 9th. We look to see you soon. Thank you for joining us, and have a great night. Take care. Good night, everybody.
Good night.